world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Today's conversation ain't about revenge, it ain't about picking sides, and it damn sure ain't about rewriting history just to feel better. This is about perspective and about what happens when pain starts talking louder than clarity. I'm talking about Turk and his latest Drink Champs interview. And let me be clear from the jump. I respect Turk for standing up as a man. I respect him not letting nobody talk crazy about him in public or private. He got kids, he got a wife, and at his age, you don't play with a man's name like he a teenager still trying to get on. On that level, I'm with Turk, but here's where I gotta be honest. Speaking your truth don't automatically make your interpretation correct. And that's where this interview started to slip, because Turk wasn't just airing pain, he was connecting dots that didn't even go together.
Juve said it, he put a drop, he dropped it because he know my better. And let me back it up, Nori. He said he took me off the album. I try to get this man on my album, bro.
Juvie,
Fresh and BG. I already had Bird on the album, but I ain't put the song out because I ain't want
Bird off the album.
I took him off the album.
That's a petty
Yeah, because I know niggas gonna be saying I'm trying to use him.
This whole sounds crazy petty.
You feel me? I got a song called All the Money with Birdman. Now, he did the song for me, and I did a song as a favor for favor. I could have put it out, but I don't want to feel like I'm trying to ride their coattail, right?
Okay.
I tell Jude to get on the song, Still on Fire. I'm like, bro, this song is hot. I didn't market, promote it, put money behind it, the video. Man, remix gonna go crazy. We on tour right now. Me, you, and Juve, I know it's gonna be hard trying to get Wayne on the Everybody cool if Wayne don't do it. Man, that nigga Juve told me, it's something about that word still. I'm like, nigga, still, S-T-I-L-L, nigga, what's wrong with that? Man, it just seemed like you just lost something or something. Then the nigga drop a podcast called Still 400. I'm like, what the fuck? After telling me I need to stay off of podcast, off of line, them niggas do podcasts every week. And they interviewing nigga like Finesse 2-time, controversy. Man, NBA Youngboy Mama, controversy. You know what I'm saying? Bun B, controversy. Nigga, I thought y'all stand away from niggas. These niggas be in the media for speaking their mind. And that's when the nigga say it's controversial. That's all I do.
When he started talking about Birdman and said everybody moves when Birdman says, that's why I pulled back. Not because Birdman is innocent and not because Cash Money don't have a history, but because it's 2026 and power don't work the way it used to. Birdman don't run everybody's life no more. Influence? Yes. Control? No. See, this is the part pain can cloud. When you've been hurt by a system, it starts to feel like that system is still everywhere. But the reality is, most of these men are moving based on their own comfort, their own interests, and their own fears, not orders. When Turk says Juvenile won't work with him because of Birdman, I don't fully buy that. I think it's deeper. I think it's personal. I think Juvenile has his own reasons, his own resentments, and his own lines he won't cross. And that don't make Turk wrong, but it don't make Juvie a puppet either. People can disagree without being controlled. Now, let's talk about the podcast contradiction. On that, Turk was right. But where he lost me was turning that frustration into a conspiracy about control. Everybody ain't against you. Sometimes people just don't want the same energy around them. And that hurt when you feel like you earned that seat. Here's the sad part. I don't think Turk is wrong about how he feels. I think he's wrong about why it's happening. This ain't about jealousy. This ain't about Birdman. This is about broken relationships that never got fixed. About men who grew apart and never learned how to speak again. And now, after Juvenile's response, calling him a bum, calling his album trash, and bringing up some incident that happened in New Orleans, let's be real. That door is closed. Not because Turk spoke up, but because everybody decided to go low. And that's the tragedy. Because what started as a man defending his name turned into an unrecoverable break. I stand with Turk on his right to speak. I don't stand with every conclusion he drew. And both of those can be true. This ain't about winning some argument. This is about losing a legacy one conversation at a time. And this is where this story really goes left. Now, this is where the conversation shifts, because it ain't about what Turk said no more. This is about how Juvenile chose to respond. And this is where a lot of people lost the plot. See, when Turk spoke on Drink Champs, he spoke from a place of pain, confusion, and frustration. You can disagree with his conclusions. You can feel like he misread some situations. But what he was not doing was disrespecting anybody's manhood. He didn't call names. He didn't go low. He didn't drag nobody's family. He spoke on his experience. And that's why Juvenile's response hit so different. Because Juve didn't come back with clarity. He came back with insults. Calling Turk a bum. Calling Turk broke. Telling him, let the people know why you really left New Orleans. That's not a conversation. That's a threat disguised as truth. And when he brought up that Juvie Tuesday bathroom incident, let's be real. That wasn't about facts. That was about humiliation. That was about saying, I can still embarrass you if I want to. And on a human level, that's why I can't rock with it. Because when a man with a wife, with kids, with a life, stands up and says, I don't like how I'm being treated, the response shouldn't be to try to destroy his dignity. That don't make you strong. That makes you defensive. And here's the irony. Juvie accused Turk of being unprofessional, but nothing about that response was professional. When Juvenile said Turk wasn't on the Hot Boys tour because of lack of cohesion and personal friction, okay, that's fair. Groups don't always work, but that should have been the first response. Not name calling, not public shaming, not dog whistling somebody's past. And this is where I gotta say this clear. Juvenile ain't even need to defend himself like that. His legacy is solid. His career is secure. His place in history is unquestioned. When you in that position, you don't have to punch down to make a point. You just explain yourself and move on. And the fact that he didn't tells me it hit a nerve. Not because Turk is lying, but because Turk is uncomfortable for people who prefer silence. Now let's address the podcast angle one more time. Turk wasn't wrong for pointing out that Manny Fresh and Juvenile are using a podcast to speak freely while telling him he shouldn't. That is a double standard. You don't get to say we stay away from controversy while making money off conversation. Just say you don't want his conversation and own it. Because what this really comes down to is not Birdman. It ain't media and it's not control. It's compatibility. These men are no longer on the same page. And that's okay. What's not okay is pretending that one man's voice is more valid than another. Turk did not sabotage his legacy by speaking. Juvenile didn't protect his by insulting Turk. All this did was make it clear. There is no reunion coming, no healing arc, no Hot Boys Part 2. That era is over. And sometimes the most grown man move is accepting that and stopping the bleeding. Because at this point, every word spoken is not repairing anything. It's just closing the door louder. After Turk spoke and after Juvenile responded, one thing became clear. This ain't about rap no more. This is about identity and about how men see themselves when the spotlight ain't shared equally. Turk didn't go on that podcast trying to burn the house down. He went on the podcast to explain why he still feels like he's locked out of a story he helped build. And whether people agree with him or not, that's real. And at the same time, Juvie ain't wrong for protecting his peace. He don't owe nobody access, collaboration, or reunion just because the internet want one. Where this all went left isn't how it was handled. Because the moment name calling enters the chat, the moment past incidents get brought up for humiliation, the conversation stops being about truth and starts being about power. And power never heals anything when it's used that way. Here's the part I want people to sit with. Turk ain't wrong for wanting respect, but respect ain't always gonna come from the people you want it from. Sometimes the truth is, you outgrow the room or the room outgrows you. And holding on just turns into pain you keep holding on to. On the other side, Juvenile ain't gained nothing responding the way he did. He ain't look stronger. He ain't look calm. He looked like somebody who was tired of talking about this. And that tells me this was never settled. Not really. The sad part is, the Hot Boys meant something to the culture. They represented brotherhood, survival, and coming up from nothing. And now that legacy is being defined by unresolved grudges and public fallouts. Not because anybody is evil, but because nobody actually sat down and talked when it mattered. And if we keeping it real, it ain't no coming back from this. Not because it can't be fixed, but because nobody seems to want to fix it. And that's okay too. Sometimes closure is accepting that a chapter ended badly and moving on. I wish Turk peace, I wish Juvie peace, but I also wish men would understand that legacy is not just what you built. It's how you treated people when the spotlight faded. And this situation should be a lesson for every group, every crew, every brotherhood in the game. If you don't deal with it when you're young, you'll be forced to deal with it in public when you're older. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.